It's an intense day in the world of Magic the Gathering. Wall Street is out for Hasbro's blood. Bank of America just issued a note devaluing the company by almost a full third of its value based almost purely on how they're handling Magic the Gathering. We are living in the wildest timeline.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The magic historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends. I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered for another installment of Mega Magic News, and this one is fat and juicy. Bank of America has strapped on the Doc Martens and climbed up the ropes of the wrestling ring, and they have just leapt at Hasbro's face, both boots forward. Things are nuts right now. So Bank of America is very unhappy with the way that Hasbro has been managing Magic the Gathering. So I have the notes that they made, basically a number of items I want to talk about. The overall theme for this is they're saying that Hasbro is continuing to destroy customer goodwill. And that is absolutely the case. Let's be very clear. When it comes to Bank of America, they are purely looking at things through the lens of what affects the stock prices. We would like to see share prices rise. So ultimately understand that while Bank of America is calling out Hasbro, it's not calling them out saying, yo, you need to make sure you're giving the absolute best customer experience. They're mostly interested in the share price going up, but they do actually talk about customer loyalty and their experience, and considering that's not their primary focus, that shows you just how bad things are going. When you've got the Wall Street sharks going, yo, maybe don't make your customers so angry, maybe treat your customers better rather than purely focused on the number side of things, you know you've messed up. Hasbro has blown things so badly with this scenario that everybody is doing the rubbernecking, looking over, whoa, what's going on? I don't even play Magic, I don't even play D&D, but the Hasbro dumpster fire is so high that the flames can be seen communities away, and they're going, yo, let's peek and see what this gigantic corporation has done now to get even lower than they were before, to the point where Wall Street's coming in going, all right, let's take a third off your value because we expect you to go nowhere but down. So again, we're talking about the concept of customer goodwill. Now, how this works is they look at the prices of the stocks and they say, here's what we think's going to happen in the future. So things look super grim for Hasbro. Bank of America is predicting that Hasbro stock is going to decline by 29%. 33% is a third of the entire company's worth, right? So 29% is really uncomfortably close to a third of their value. And understand, they've been getting savaged, right? Over the last couple of years, their stock has just went boom, 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 because, well, a lot of things Hasbro does aren't really for the current world anymore. Do you see kids playing with tiny little plastic dinosaurs and stuff like that, and all the toys we had when I was a kid, your little beep boops and stuff like that? No. People plunk their kids down in front of tablets because tablets, oh, look at it, it's lighting up, it's doing all this stuff. The kid will just touch it, and you can find, mommy needs to sit down and have a cigarette from the stress of raising you, Billy. So you just go bunk, bunk, bunk. So that's what kids are doing now. So Hasbro's business in terms of what they're selling kids, a lot of the toys just gutted. So now they're leaning heavily on Magic the Gathering. Now, we discussed this back in, when was it, November, that the Bank of America went at them again, but things look a lot more dire now. And actually, there's an extra aspect to it I hadn't considered that I want to add on. But to continue with the point they're making, they're saying that the stock is going to go down by 29%, and that's factoring in the fact that Hasbro already said, yo, we're going to lose or we've lost about $200 million. We're going to try and cut 15% of the workforce to make up for that. But ultimately, it's probably not going to be enough. So even them going, hey, we've lost this money. Bank of America goes, it's going to get this much worse. People already know about this. We're factoring it in and going to say it's going about a third worse than that, right? So we already have that going on. Then they talk about the main issue is that they're diluting the brand value of Magic the Gathering. And they absolutely are. This is the first time in Magic's history where you don't really know all the products that exist if you're an avid Magic fan. And I feel very comfortable saying this because I'm somebody who literally spends his time reporting on Magic the Gathering. Keeping up with everything that's going on with Magic is what I do. That's how I get to eat, son. And even I go, okay, I can't keep track anymore. This has become this baffling array of products where literally if you want to know what kind of card, like, okay, I want this particular card, you need a chart like you're doing video game pre-orders where it's like, oh, well, this comes in the Ultimate Edition and the Collectors and the Draft and there's all these different products to the point where you go, okay, what's in what? And now you've got cards, the exact same card, Hercule and Urtet, printed at Rare and Mythic Rare based on the product that they're in. And it's like, okay, so was this done intentionally? Are you messing up? Are you trying new levels of changing things around? But I can't tell what's in what anymore. When people go, what kind of box toppers are in this? All the products have become muddled as Wizards basically just turned on the fire hose and has churned out cards. And actually, as a complete side note to this, I just want to mention to you guys, the Japanese card quality, not happy to say this, the Japanese card quality is on the decline. This is the first time that I've gotten cards from a pre-release. It's all Japanese printing, which used to be top tier, right? Maybe they're cutting costs there because my non-foil cards are warping and bending. You can put them on the table and they'll pop. You can literally hear them pop when you push the middle as the corners pop up. For non-foils of Japanese printing. So the cost cuttings, the stuff that they're doing, they're making a million products at once. The quality has gone down in every single regard. I can't think of any aspect of Magic the Gathering right now where I've seen any improvement. None of it, right? The only increase you see is an increase in price and in mistakes. The number of serialized cards, they did a print run of 500 of all these different cards, all numbered 1 to 500. And the number of mistakes in these is astounding. If you go and look in the misprint groups where they collect this sort of thing, you'll see people who are avid misprint collectors going, so at this point, it seems like regular ones are more rare. So even when they're making their most premium versions of things, their super, super special editions, or their best printers, the quality is sliding on top of the insane amount of products that people can't keep up with. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a whole array of products for people to buy if you can deliver to a certain quality standard, but they can't. So Wizards of the Coast has diluted the brand in that way. The Bank of America says that they have too much short-term profit in their thoughts. So they're trying to grab too much short-term profit. They're not thinking of sustainability in terms of the Magic the Gathering brand. And my favorite analogy for this has always been the idea of a forest. For the longest time, Magic was a sustainable forest where Wizards would plant new sets in Standard and they would grow and things would flourish slowly over time. And then you could collect the value from the secondary market in terms of reprints or whatever else you wanted to do. But Wizards gotten to the point where they, no, we want to do secret layers where we walk in with a plastic tree and go, boom, this is equivalent, right? But it's not. So they're undermining the market in a number of ways, trying to grab. They're basically going, we deserve money from every single part of this. Do you enjoy the game? Do you collect the cards? We should be able to extract every bit of secondary market. They spend too much time focused on that. Like they are razor laser focused on the secondary market to the point where it's been stated that they will not, like, okay, we're not going to give you higher value reprints unless it's a more expensive set. So they go, we disavow the secondary market and don't pay attention to it. But they base so many of their decisions on that. Now, this is where Bank of America is actually going to kind of differ from my vibe, where they want cards to be expensive, exclusive. They want Wizards to make less product to make it harder to get and to push the value of the product up. I'm more interested in quality product in terms of an actual gameplay aspect. I want the cards to be good to play with, not too busted, printed to a high quality standard. That's the biggest thing for me. Seeing the Japanese stuff slide is a massive issue, and it's just another sign of what's going on with Wizards. The short-term profit thinking, basically, what happened was the pandemic was boom time for them. And in my opinion, obviously I don't work there, so I can't say for sure what happened, but in my opinion, they looked at it like this. They went, uh-oh, nobody can go out and play Magic anymore. We're probably in a lot of trouble right now. But instead what happened was money started flowing in. People were like, I got nothing to do. You know what? I'll buy some Magic, crack some boxes or whatever. Hey, maybe I'll sit at home and play with the wife, whatever it is. But Magic was booming. They had boom time for years. So they went, we can't do nothing wrong. Cut the Pro Tour. Just get rid of it. We'll make a digital Pro Tour. We'll lock everybody into contracts so they can't say anything negative about it. It was literally more about muzzling the pros and pretending there was a Pro Tour. They didn't even create a path. They didn't explain to you how you could become a pro player. They said, we're making this digital Pro Tour thing. They made a video about it. They will know your name. And then they didn't tell you how to get in. And then after getting hassled about it for like a year, they made another tiny little league and went, this is the league of how you get into that one. Well, how do you get into this one? I don't know, maybe figure it out. They wouldn't talk to the pros. Like, what they do is absolutely insane. They just go, well, we're making all this money. It'll always be like this. You know what this means? It has nothing to do with the fact that people are at home and have extra money from being given it. It has everything to do with we're just doing everything right. So let's get crazier and crazier. And you could see it across 2022 as they got greedier and lazier. Baldur's Gate was a massive betrayal, right? Baldur's Gate was never meant to be a Commander Legends set. You can see it. You look at it. It was a D&D set that they decided, if we just call this Commander Legends, then we can sell it for like double. We're not going to put the Jeweled Lotus in there. We're not going to put the good chase like Mythics. We're not even going to put Dockside in there. What we're going to do is we're going to put Dockside in Double Masters, the reprint set, that we're going to charge $400 or $500 a box for. Like, just absolute madness. And they actually got away with the Double Master stuff to such a crazy degree that all kinds of stores sat on it, warehouses going, this is a great product, I'm going to keep it, there'll be demand for it in the future. And then 6 months later, they go, hey guys, it's time to celebrate 30th anniversary by creating the most tone-deaf product we've ever created. 30th anniversary, the birth of a nightmare. 4 packs for $1,000, not tournament legal, essentially just proxies of reserve list cards. It's like, if you asked me what would aggravate the player base the most, I couldn't have even conceived of that product because it's so far out, like, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. How do you think this is going to work? So obviously, the market's recoiled in horror in a way we've never seen in Magic's history, okay? You have to understand, the ripples of this are still echoing months and months later. There has been a massive exodus in Magic the Gathering. This might be the biggest exodus ever. I don't know 100% because you can't really see the full metrics of everybody who just says, I'm done buying Magic, I'm quitting. But certain metrics, like taking a look at game stores, their buy lists and what they're doing, I've never seen all the game stores go, we're not buying bulk anymore. And it's like, do you mean commons and uncommons? No, we're not buying bulk, like rares. You're not taking rares for like a dime a piece anymore. Like that's always a gimme. That's like the lowest of the low. That's the lowest barrel. We'll give you a dime a rare, right? That is the minimal level, and everybody is glutted because Wizards has laid waste to the player base with this. So there's basically tons of corpses just laying there on the ground while all these vultures are feasting. So it's a crazy buyer's market like I've never seen, as massive people have absolutely lost faith in Wizards of the Coast, and it's deserved. I mean, the D&D thing, you guys remember? Oh, of course you remember. The open gaming license nonsense that Wizards of the Coast pulled with the D&D community, and they went, we're taking our money. We're leaving. We're canceling our memberships. We're going to boycott your movie. Like, that was mentioned. The movie boycott was mentioned in the Bank of America report as well. So you have this scenario where Wizards, like, do you guys remember the fireside chat where they came out and they were just basically the equivalent of Magic players are just price sensitive. When I'm sitting in my jacuzzi drinking all my boozy, I have a great time and I just think, you know what? Let's move on to D&D and what can we do to these guys next? And well, we saw what happened there. So Wizards limped away away with that having obliterated the trust of the D&D community. Like, even the people who are going, we won, they're not going to change it. It's like, for now, you know they're coming back. They did an interview, Wizards of the Coast. Oh, who was it? I don't remember the individual, sorry. But they were interviewed in the last couple of days talking about the OGL situation. And here's, if you wanted to guess the people who made the decisions, do you think they'd bring in a bunch of the teams and players and stuff like that? Or do you think it would just be, I don't know, lawyers, managers, high-level executives? Because that's exactly who it was dealing with the OGL originally. So tone deaf. Even, I bet the second edition was just them going, oh, those fools. Well, they can't stop us. We'll just reword the same thing, basically, and slide it back out. And then it goes back out and they just get it kicked back. Like, the high levels of management at Wizards of the Coast, and let's be real, Hasbro as well, are completely out of touch. So you have Wizards of the Coast, which Hasbro is forcing to get money from, right? Basically 1/3 of what Hasbro is bringing in terms of income is coming from Wizards of the Coast. And the lion's share of that comes from Magic the Gathering. So to put it in the shortest form possible, Magic the Gathering is what's keeping Hasbro on life support. Hasbro is hemorrhaging money from pretty much every division. Wizards of the Coast is responsible for all of the profits that they're going to pull in, pretty much, or at least the bulk of them, right? Even if it's just 1/3 by itself, it's the only child that's strong enough to work the farm, while the rest of them are just laying on the foot, daddy, right? So that's Hasbro right now. And this becomes very disconcerting. Taking all of this in, figuring this all out and going, wait a minute, there's a scenario that's even worse. Like, we can have a situation where it's detrimental for Magic in the future, where they go, okay, we're going to correct course at a certain point, pull it back, we're not going to drive it down into oblivion. But that requires people who care at the top and who care about the long-term health of the game, even if it's just 10-year long-term health of the game. If we have a different scenario than that, we might run into a situation where you have the executives at Hasbro right up there going, okay, you know what? I'm on a sinking ship. Like, Hasbro, you're a high-level executive. You work for Hasbro. Hasbro it's a sinking ship. You don't care about Hasbro. You definitely don't care about Wizards of the Coast, the division of it. What you do care about is how much money you can extract from your stocks. So you're sitting there as one of these executives with a whole bunch of stocks. And as these crater, like every one of these executives is looking at 1/3 of the value of their stocks just Thanos snapped out of existence, according to the projections made by Bank of America, right? So if they're looking at that going, okay, it could be worse than that, what's to say you just don't go, for the short term, make them print everything. Just throw it all at the wall. We're going to get short-term profits. We're not going to worry about the long-term because it doesn't matter. I'm selling my stocks off. If all of the Hasbro executives, now I have no idea because I'm the deep wolf of Wall Street. Look at me. I'm over here. I mean, it's probably pretty obvious from the way I'm talking. I don't pay attention to the financial markets. I don't even know how to check. Like, if an executive of a company has sold off shares, I don't know if that's possible. Like, I don't know if it tracks information on the same level that Bitcoin would, where you can actually go and see what everybody's done, or if that's like private purchase information. So I don't know. But if you have these executives who are selling off all their stock because they don't have faith in the company, then why not milk it for the short term, get what you can, and get out, right? So to me, this is a crucial turning point. This could be a situation where Wizards like pull the plane up, you're Batman. Oh wait, no, Batman can't do that. He doesn't have superpowers. You're Superman. Pull the plane back up, or just hurtle it into the sea, hoping that it'll smash a hole open and pull up a bunch of gold out of the sea bottom. I don't know. That analogy is not the best. Either way, I am very concerned about this. It's pretty amazing to see Wall Street coming in and going to Wizards of the Coast. But either way, let me know your thoughts on this one. This is a crazy subject. I'm going to be live streaming over on my other channel tonight. You're welcome to come by and hang out if you like. Big shout out to my patrons, and I will see you all for the next video.